Okay, right. So you guys should all see my screen, my presentation. If you can't see it, just shout out in the chat. If you can't hear me, also let me know via the chat. Okay, let's get started. So this webinar is all about our new social media management tool inside of StoryChief. So first off, my name, I'm Sam. I do customer success here at StoryChief. If you've ever chatted with us in the past, you may have come across me. If so, hi again. So that's that. So let's move on. I saw this quote a little while back about, let's read it for you. So it says, marketing is no longer about the stuff you make, but about the stories you tell. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I think it's very true. And I believe it also aligns with what we do at StoryChief. And we enable you to get your story out there. And there are four main challenges that content marketers come across today. There's not enough time to create valuable content. And marketers struggle to do all these things we see right here. So not enough time to create content, again, struggling to stay relevant and engage with the audience, lack of insights, and tough to measure content and return of interest. So there's lots of really tough things for them to manage, and that's what we try and solve inside of StoryChief. So hopefully you're all aware, with StoryChief, you can publish articles to your websites and also share those articles to your social media channels. But what if you want to just create standalone social posts, stuff that is not tied to a story you have created? Now, how would you do that? Well, we wanted to provide a solution just to do that. Okay, so today we'll be covering three different topics. So first off, we'll be looking at what is social media management and what kind of value it can bring you all. Secondly, we'll be looking at how will this all integrate into StoryChief. So right now, StoryChief is all about stories. How can we integrate that all together? And lastly, towards the end, we'll be looking at the interface and with a short demo as well. So stay around to the end to have a full look at what we're working on. Okay, so social media management. Well, you can probably think of a few products off the top of your head. They all do the same thing, more or less. They help you schedule and publish social media posts. We took a very long, hard look at what other companies are doing. And with our experience handling all of your stories, we think we can provide a cleaner, more streamlined management system for social posts as well. So all of the experience that we've built up when working on StoryChief, working on those stories, we are confident we can transfer all that knowledge over to social. So that's how StoryChief differentiates itself from those other platforms. And you can see it here in the slide. So a clear interface, having both of those long form articles and those shorter social posts in one platform, proper calibration and approval flow. So all of those features you've come to expect will also be working on social. And lastly, having that clear campaign view of everything going on. All right, so here's StoryChief right now. So again, it's fantastic at providing an intuitive way to create stories inside your team. But maybe thinking, why do you want to do this? Why do we want to create or give our users the ability to create social posts? Well, it's very simple. We want to give you all that central platform for all of your content, and not just your stories. And by having this one-stop shop, you can gain a clear overview of your entire marketing efforts. So think about that. You don't need to log into different platforms. If you've used StoryChief in the past, you are aware that you create an article and you publish it out to all those different channels. Or social will be exactly the same. You create the social post inside of StoryChief and it is sent out all for you with one click. So by integrating this into StoryChief, we can provide all of those features you've come to expect and give you that clean user interface. It'll all be present right in there. Okay. Quick drink. I found out this plant here is a bit in my way, but that's okay. So that was our driving force for this update. Bringing both of those worlds into one location. And because, like I mentioned, content marketing has changed a lot. It's really tough for people. Having that central platform, we allow to create content from multiple touch points, and that's really crucial. So that's our goal, and I think we are well on our way to attaining that. So you can see in the slide here, you can publish your articles, your stories. You'd also be able to create standalone social posts and also in addition, video posts, which is really interesting. Okay, so anyone joining us right now, I'm just going over a bit of a theory behind why we're making this update. If you have any chats, again, just throw them in the chat and we'll get towards answering them at the end. Okay, so what are the benefits of social? Like why should you be doing this? You're already creating stories, hopefully with StoryChief. Why do you also want to create these standalone social posts? But there are 3 benefits that I want to tell you all right now. So the first one, they will extend the reach of your brand. Okay. The second one, by posting regularly on social media, others will see you as an authority. And lastly, and perhaps more crucially for social posts, your brand will come off as approachable and human. So 3 very key points there to take away. When creating social posts, that's how you'll be able to engage your audience and take that even further. But why would you use StoryChief for social posts? You may be already using other platforms. You may even be doing it manually yourself. Well, first off, like I mentioned, all your content will be in one place. So that means one login to create social and stories. If you're already using StoryChief and you already have all of your users set up, you're already good to go. Like you can still use those users. All those logins will still work also for social. No extra setup will be necessary for you. Secondly, just like how you can create campaigns to group stories, once this launches, you'll be able to include your social posts too. So in other words, you may be using our campaign feature right now. It's the same kind of theory. You'll be able to create an entire marketing push, all organized inside the StoryChief in a clear, straightforward interface. It's really fantastic. What I've created here is just a small example of how you'll be able to use StoryChief to manage an entire marketing campaign. So what you would do is you assign users, you invite them into your account, you give them editorial briefs to kind of brief them on what it should be about, and then you can then create your stories, create your posts, and then schedule everything out. So for example, day 1, you may have a story ready to go, you publish that out to, say, a WordPress site, you share it on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Medium, all your platforms. But then on day 2, maybe you want to share a video about that story. Maybe you've created a video about some key points inside of that article, create a video about it, share it on Facebook, on LinkedIn, maybe even directly upload it to YouTube. Third day, create maybe an infographic about, again, a different topic inside of that story. And then you can share that as an image on Twitter, Slack, Pinterest, all of your channels as well. And then beyond the last day, day 4, again, you can choose these days whenever you feel like, or create even more steps as well. You could maybe even share a quote from the article on social accounts from the CEO or maybe somebody else. There's so much ability and choice for you here. You can do anything you want with it. Okay, so that's a bit of a background. And then after you finish publishing all of that stuff out, you can also check the reports of it. For each day, you can see, all those channels, how well your post did, be it in a story or social posts. But how would this work in practice and how we go about this? So right now, you log into StoryChief, you have the option to create a story, correct? Well, no longer. Once this update comes out, there will be multiple different options. There'll be an option to, still create a story, of course. There'll be an option to create standalone social posts, and there'll also be the option to create videos. Maybe we can take a quick moment to look at each of these. So stories and creating a story, the editor will stay more or less the same right now. You shouldn't expect many changes on that front, so you can skip that. But now we can take a look at social media, how we create those posts. So you can see in the screenshots, it's a bit small, but I'll give a live demo towards the end. How it works is it's separated into 2 different sections here. So we see the top section, you see the ability to create that initial social post. So you add your message. Right now in StoryChief, this is kind of based off of like your excerpts and other things like that. But then what you can do is you can tailor that per group of channels. So you can copy that across to other channels. You can then change things. You can change the image. very similar to the customized feature already in our audience page in the editor. Okay, how do videos work? Well, videos we're working really hard on, and it will come in an update a bit later on. What it allows you to do is very similar to how you can add images to your post right now inside the StoryChief. You'll be able to instead upload a video, and it'll be sent instead of an image. So instead of an image being shown, it'll be a video. And you can see an example here that I shared from Facebook to give you a bit of an idea of what that will be like. Again, any questions, just throw them in the chat. Interested to hear any opinions you have. Okay, maybe now we can jump into a demo. So why have I put the scary emoji, the screaming face emoji in there? Well, it is in a very early build. Things may break. It's a webinar. They probably will break, but we're going to do our best. And I'm going to show you all how this works right now. So just bear with me a second. While I change over to this presentation, we have also a poll. So if I just do that with you right now. Where's my mouse here? I think I've lost my mouse. Let me just exit the presentation here. Okay, so here we are. So it's confusing finding where I am here. Okay, so let's launch the poll. So you should see a poll appear right now. I'm interested to hear how many of you actually use StoryChief right now. You can choose yes or no, just so I have a bit of an idea of your experience with us. And while you do that, I can share my other screen here. Let's do that. Okay, so hopefully you should see that now. Okay, so here we are in our demo, in our test right now. Hopefully you can see that as well. Let me just see our chat just to make sure. Okay, so here we are. So what we see right off the bat here is it's very similar to the existing StoryChief interface, same kind of styling here. And you have, like I mentioned earlier, two different sections. So the first section here, you can choose which channels you want to send this announcement out to. So you can choose, it could be Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the channels we currently support. And then you could add a message here. So I could say, for example, I can add some more text here, check it out now, something like that. And then what will happen here is that this is our sort of our global message. This is our template for this post. If you want to, you can just send this out right now as it is. That's no problem. You can also from here edit the UTM tags if you want to with this here. You can even use the builder to really change things up there. You can also change the image. So very similar to the customize feature we already have in the audience tab. You can do that here. And what you can also do from here, you can change the type of social posts for this. So what these are is what we'll be linking to. So do you want to link to a story? And if you click on here, you can choose one of your stories right here. Or you can add an image here, or you can use a video inside the post, or you can just link it to an external piece of content as well. So once you've done that, again, you can publish it out right now if you want to, or you can schedule it for later. But if you want to really tailor it for every single channel, which I definitely recommend you do, you just scroll down a tiny bit further here, and then you can do that. So what we see here is that, okay, I had these 5 channels here, 2 Facebook, 2 Twitter, and 1 LinkedIn, and we see them all here below. But channels of the same type are grouped. So what that allows you to do is if you say you want to have a particular comment from Facebook, you can add that in here just for Facebook. Let me just do that right now. If I can type here, I'm really failing at this. There we go. So just for Facebook as an example for you all. And you then change it for Twitter and LinkedIn. You can add different images. You can change the UTM tag. If it's for Facebook, you can change the audience as well. But you can take it even further than that. If you want to change it even further per actual channel, so not the whole group, so not just all the Facebook channels, but individual Facebook channels. If we click here on ungroup, it'll separate them out like so. So now you see we have 2 different Facebook channels listed here, and you can take it even further now by changing each individual one. So just for this channel, there we go. And again, you can then customize that image. You can change the audience, the UTM. So if you really want to have like a particular specific message per channel, it's very easy to do that. But if you just want to have one very simple, easy social post for all your channels, or a group of channels, you can do that as well. And if you tailor it per channel or per group of channels, you can also mention as well. So after this demo, I'm going to show you also how we can do that. This doesn't quite work right now in here, but I will show you that in a second. That's how grouping works. So you can group things up again if you want to. If you want to take this data back from the master, the template kind of thing, if you click on this three-dot menu here, you can reset changes as well. Also remove channels. So it's very simple. If you've used our platform before to create social media posts for your articles, for your stories, I think this will be relatively familiar to you. So if you click on all these different things, you can open up the sidebars to change everything. Same with the audience, like I mentioned, and the UTM tracking as well. So what do you think about this so far? Do you think it's cool? We quickly check the chat, see what you're all saying. Have a bit of time to answer a few questions here. Okay, Ricardo says wicked. Christian says cool, great to hear. So a question here from Philippe about do the images resize automatically? Yes, they do. It'll actually give you in the preview, they'll show you what the image will look like. Things may be cut off on the side, but we will show you that in the preview so you definitely know what will be sent out. All right, everyone sounds like it's good to you all. That's really good to hear. I'll pass on all that positive feedback. Okay, so that's how we do that. I hope you all found it interesting. Let me now head on back to my presentation where I want to show you now a few tiny more things. So bear with me one more time. Let me just hide this away and open up my presentation again. I'm not good at this switching back and forth thing. Let me just see if I can find it. Okay, this one here. Yep. Wrong button. Here we are. All right, so we're back here again. Hooray, made it. Okay, so next up. So I mentioned earlier tagging. And this is a feature we've actually launched right now. So if you are already a StoryChief user, you can already tag people in your social posts. So how that works is very similar to how you would do it on the actual platforms themselves. You just type the @ symbol, and then based on the platform, you will find suggestions based on that. So if I see in this example here, I'm typing ABC, it'll suggest companies called ABC. And that's the end of my presentation, too far. And this works on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook also coming soon. Not right now, but we are working really hard with Facebook to get this launched on that platform as well. Okay, so that's my presentation. Interested to hear what you all thought again. Any questions, any concerns, just let me know in the chat. We have a bit of time now for Q&A, so let me just open up the chat and see what you're all saying here. Where are we here? Also the Q&A also open. So let's first tackle the Q&A section. So Des, you asked, is there a recording because you arrived late? Yes. Tomorrow, I'll be sending out a recording of this entire webinar. It'll be the same time as this tomorrow. So again, 3 p.m. Central European time. Will this be integrated for existing StoryChief user accounts? Great question. I knew it was going to pop up. We are thinking really hard on how we can bring this to our users. In regards to plans and other things, we haven't quite yet decided on everything right now, but we will be announcing that a bit closer to release. See a question from Lorda here. Social media posts that stand alone, this means we can, for instance, just publish a picture with a caption above without needing to share a link. Yeah, correct, absolutely. So instead of having to have that story already in place, you can just create a social post. It doesn't need to have a story linked to it at all. It can just be some text, can be an image, a video, no story necessary. I see a question from Joel here. Are there any curation features for social posts? Can you elaborate a bit further on that, Joel? While you're doing that, let me just answer the next question. Do you have an approximate idea of how long this cast will go for? Okay, until about now, roughly. So it's half an hour-ish. Question from Rudy. So no more using Buffer and StoryChief at the same time. That's more or less the goal, yeah. So from once we release this update, you better handle everything inside of StoryChief, stories and social. Okay, I think that was all the questions. Another question from Anonymous here. Connection with Umbraco. We do support that out of the box, I believe. If you have any questions about that, feel free to send me an email at sam@storychief.io. And yeah, we'll look into that together with you. I see my developers looking a bit concerned in the background, but just send us an email. We'll, yeah, that's a sloth in the background there. A question from Joel here. How many social platforms can you connect? Is there a limit based on package? Right now, it is 20 social channels, no, sorry, 20 social accounts per channel. So you could have 20 Twitter profiles, 20 LinkedIn profiles, 20 LinkedIn pages. That's how it is right now. From what I believe, it will probably stay the same like that. If you need more, get in contact and we can maybe work something out. And I think that is, yeah, Joel elaborated for curation. I mean, helping you find content to share on social media. That's a really good suggestion. Something that we won't be releasing right now, but it's definitely something I'll pass on to our product team. And another question from Philippe, is scheduling of social posts possible as well? Yes, absolutely. So you have the option to either publish it right now, or you can schedule for later, and you can create additional social posts as well. So if you want to just publish one right now, say to Twitter, and maybe another post to Twitter in a day, 2 days, you can do that as well. Let me just check our chat. Maybe there's some more questions there. Let's have a look here. Lots of questions here today. Let's see where I got up to here. Okay, so Christian had a question about pricing. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, we are still thinking about pricing. We'll release that towards a bit closer to the time of release date. So we'll definitely let you know via email. When will we get beta access? Very good question there. I'm not quite sure when we'll be able to do that or if we are going to do that, but if we do, we'll definitely let you know via email if you've signed up via our social media page. Okay, how about formatting social posts for Pinterest? Pinterest support, we are working very hard with their team on getting that to happen. It may not be released at launch, but we are definitely working on it and hope to release it sometime in the future. A question about, see here, when are we releasing this version? Well, our original plan was to release it towards the end of the year, but we're putting a lot of extra work and extra polish in getting it out there. And for that reason, it'll be more than likely in January. We're aiming for around the 15th of January, but we will announce the proper release date. It will be start of January where we can actually announce that with you all. And as Valerie pointed out, Pinterest is possible, as you say, with Zapier right now. Okay, I think that is everything. Are there any more questions I've missed? Yeah, is everything right? Question from Joel at the end here. How do agencies get approval for social posts from clients? That's a very good question, Joel. What I will do, I'm not entirely sure. I'm looking at our developers right now. They aren't looking back at me, but it's okay. How do people get approval for social posts? Okay, so you probably didn't hear that, but what I just got back from a developer is that it'll work the same kind of process as it does right now for stories. So you'd request approval from them and they can check it out. Okay, I think that is everything covered, I think. If you're watching a recording of this webinar and you have any questions that I did not answer right now, send me an email, sam@storychief.io, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. If you are new to StoryChief or you don't have an account right now, I do recommend viewing our Introduction to StoryChief webinar. Let me just share the link with you all in the chat. Let me just do that. It's really useful if you are, like I mentioned, new to StoryChief and you want to know how to create stories, how the whole collaboration flow works. It's definitely worth checking out. Here we are. So that's the link to it. In 2 weeks, I'll be having giving a different webinar story. Again, a themed webinar about a particular theme. I'm not quite sure what it'll be right now, but check out our webinar page to stay up to date. Okay, I think we're running out of time here right now. So if there are any other questions, I don't think there are. I think we're good for now. If you signed up to our social media management page, you've left your email, we'll be sending more updates coming very soon. So stay on the alert for that one. For everything else, yeah, just let me know if you have any questions. Again, sam@storychief.io. I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, that's everything. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. I hope you all enjoyed the short demo at the end. Hope it was all interesting to you all. And I'll speak to you all very soon. Okay, bye for now.